Welcome to my channel, Real Life Yogi. I'm Rose, and in today's vlog, I'm going to be telling you 3 reasons why I became a yoga teacher, and I'll also be sharing one of the biggest ways in which yoga changed my worldview. So go ahead and grab yourself a cup of tea, coffee, or whatever you like best with a story. I completed my yoga teacher training in January 2020, but the reason as to why I became a yoga teacher started almost 10 years earlier when I was 14 years old, which is where my first reason comes from, my personal experience. I had actually heard of yoga a couple of times at this point, the usual things that it was good for your health, etc. But because of the religious atmosphere that I was being raised in, doing yoga was actually against the rules because it was perceived as pertaining to another religion that was different than the one that my parents practiced. So when I decided to try it out, I actually had to keep it a secret. We lived in the countryside where there were no yoga studios or sports studios to be found. So my first actual experience with yoga was from a video on YouTube. I remember being in my room, I had locked the door and plugged my headphones into my laptop, and I happened upon a video by Yoga with Adriene. Some of you might or may not be familiar with her channel. For I think one of the first times in my life, I felt like I had entered kind of a judgment-free zone in that video. Everything else seemed to just kind of get put on a momentary pause, and all I had to worry about was taking one breath after the other. After just a 15-minute practice, I was really surprised by how different I'd felt from when I began. I had this sort of feeling of being relaxed and that kind of that everything was going to be okay. Throughout the following several years, anytime I needed more inner calm, or especially during periods when outside circumstances seemed to be particularly unpredictable, I'd roll out my exercise mat, lock my door, plug my earphones into my laptop, and look up another video on YouTube. At the time, I didn't really think much about it. I just remember having this sense of stability and peace when I would do yoga, and really feeling the need for that. So yeah, about 5 years went by. I moved to France. And although I wasn't practicing yoga on a regular basis, periodically following videos on YouTube had become actually something I really depended on to support me through this time of transitioning where I was learning a new language, getting used to a new culture, and all those kinds of things. A few years later, I started to become more interested in understanding what exactly it was about doing yoga that helped me get into this mental and physical space, which would create this sense of calm and peace. So I bought a few books, and I spent 2 years casually looking into the main ideas around yoga, like where it came from, what the purpose of it is, that kind of thing. And that's where my second reason for becoming a yoga teacher comes in, which is the basic philosophy behind yoga. The more I looked into the origins and foundations of yoga, the easier it was for me to understand why this practice is so powerful. Like most things, I think there are a lot of different ways to look at it. So just please know that when I talk about the philosophy of yoga, I'm referring to my personal interpretation of it. But yeah, there are definitely lots of different ways to interpret the purpose of yoga, if you will. And I strongly believe that every person is entitled to their opinion. So I'm saying that this is not the right way to think about yoga. This is how I came to relate to the philosophy behind it. And basically, I found that yoga is meant to serve as a kind of support to not only unify our physical and mental, spiritual selves, but also it's about giving our true selves, the pure being on the inside, the space to be seen, and to be loved. This belief that we're all connected by the light and love that is at each of our cores is, for me, the essence of yoga. And hopefully, through showing that inner person inside of us some loving, kind attention by practicing yoga, we'll be more able to embody that person at our core on and off the mat. Thinking this way was kind of a revelation for me. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was raised in a religious atmosphere, and although now I have a deep appreciation for the support and goodness that religion offers to many people around the world, the atmosphere that I was raised in put a big focus on the idea that there was something inherently bad in humanity, which needed to be cleansed by an outward source. I do just want to take a quick moment here to say that I'm not trying to validate or invalidate any type of religious belief, just sharing my own opinions as they relate to my experience. So anyways, putting such a strong focus on the idea that there was something sinful about me at my core created a super heavy sense of guilt in me throughout my young life, and to the point that there was rarely a moment that I wasn't desperately trying to avoid being a bad person. But when I started to adopt this belief that inside of me there wasn't a bad person, but a good and caring person, someone worthy of love and kindness, my efforts to actually be that person really became astronomically easier. And yeah, so rather than trying to push something down inside of me, I started showing care and attention to the good that was already present in me and giving myself space to express and appreciate that good. Just a very different perspective, and one that gave me a lot of courage to not become the person I always wanted to be, but more so help myself heal from the past behaviors and thoughts that were hindering me from fully expressing the person that I already was, which is someone full of love and light, as I believe we all are at our core. Being able to practice an activity that cultivated this type of mindset, plus the physical benefits of yoga, really had a positive impact on my day-to-day life. And I wanted to share all of those benefits with as many people as I could, so now I've arrived at the third reason why I became a yoga teacher, which is the opportunities that teaching yoga offers. Of course, becoming a yoga instructor would allow me the chance to offer others this kind of experience that encourages self-love and acceptance that I discovered in yoga. And the cool thing is that if that kind of focus isn't at all your thing, there are still a lot of scientifically proven physical benefits and mental from practicing yoga, such as balance, improving your quality of sleep, lowering anxiety and stress levels, to name just a few. And also that physical health side of it aligned with my personal passion for pursuing and sharing the journey to holistic wellness. Plus, I love personal interactions, and I've always been a fairly active person, which can be a big part of the opportunities that being a yoga teacher creates. So there you have it, the main reasons why I became a yoga teacher, and I am so happy that I did. Since every day is different, we're always changing our minds and bodies, right? And we never step onto the mat the same person that we were even the day before. Which means that every class with each student is a very unique opportunity, and I absolutely love having the ability to meet people where they are and offer them some wellness through yoga. Speaking of which, I will be regularly uploading guided yoga session videos to this channel, which I would love to have you join me for. I also hope to share the stories of what my teacher training course was like and the ways in which my life changed after I became a yoga teacher, the biggest ways in which my life changed after I became a yoga teacher. So if you liked this video or you want to make sure to catch those videos in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for letting me share my story with you. I hope that this video has served you, maybe given you some insight if you're thinking about becoming a fellow yoga teacher, or if you're just curious about some of the reasons why people become yoga teachers. Please feel free to leave any questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond. Until next time, sending loving vibes your way. Namaste.